I want that to be a mentality. I want people to be like, oh, so when are we planting that church? Or when is it, how's that church going over there and wherever that we planted?
I heard some good advice on that, though, as far as setting culture when you're church planting. And if you want that, bake it into the DNA right now. Ooh. So from the start, you start with what you want and the desire. So bake it in. For example, for us, we're called Redemption Church. Even though we're part of the Calvary Chapel movement, my dad was bivocational most of his church planting life. Coming to Parachute, I knew it would be a few years slower. So I was like, we're not going to have a building.
What's that? What's a building?
I'm probably going to be working. We're not going to have a building. I'm trying to reach people. Like, you need to say just church, and Redemption's a good one. Okay, let's put it together. Let's move on about the gospel. Okay. So it was very simple, but I think it was really important to, from the get-go, bake it in, and like with 10% of our tithes and offering going church planting.
Whoa. So talk about baking it in. What is that? Like, how do you bake something in?
Like, you add it it's a part of your fundamental ingredient. Like a cookie goes into an oven and becomes all delicious, right?
Yeah.
But as you're mixing it together, you can eat raw cookie dough as well, and you have to add some things in there.
Salmonella, I think.
Well, if you don't add egg, you're good to go.
All right.
But there's a doctor in the house, so just come see me if you get sick.
Okay. Exactly. So like I when I wanted to say, okay, I want a culture of church planting, and it's probably going to take a lot of energy and effort. I'm not going to have a church planting residency year one. So do I wait 3, 4, 5 years? No, I'm going to bake it in. So we're all of it. So every 6 weeks I had someone come in, and those people would usually be church planners, missionaries. We would like where our funds would go with the things that we wanted to value.
Right. So talking about where the funds go, because people who don't value or understand the importance of church planting, they're learning. We're trying to teach them. We're baking it in. What would you say to like a congregation member or someone who's giving faithfully, tithing faithfully to the church, and then if you do an annual report or whatever, they're saying, whoa, why are we doing 10% and just giving our money to somebody else as a church? Why don't we use that on kids programs or more stuff for us? Like, what's the answer to that? Is it just a slow process, or?
I mean, I get asked this all the time.
You look like you wanted to answer, but he's the expert.
Hop in.
No. I said, do you want to answer?
Hop in. I've got something to share, but you hop in.
Well, the only reason I say is because people have specifically asked me that over and over again, because I'm bivocational. We have a small budget. We've always been a smaller church. And so people have literally fought me, because that means I can't go on staff full time. Because
Why are you giving the money away, Daniel? You can be on staff.
Yeah, this tithe is for you and the pastor. And I'm like, no, this is God's money. You're not tithing to me. We're tithing to the Lord. And if we as a leadership feel this is where God's going and directing us, then that's what we want to do. So I've had to have a lot of conversations, and I've had to teach them. I think that the way that we even do our budget is important. We teach about tithing, giving, being generous. And so we are called to make disciples, and there's no better way to cultivate a church plant is through another local church.
I want to get a button that when you say cultivate, that makes like a little sound.
You should.
That's good. No, but I like that thought. That's good.
You know what I mean? Like, so just for me, I've had more of a defensive people coming at me personally because they love me and care about me. But I will say this, a lot of people in our church stick and go to our church because we're so generous and because we're all about church planting and missions.
What do you think, Casey?
They just love it.
What I think is, I'm glad that this guy answered first, because he has a lot of skin in the game. Like, he's
making a sacrifice. It sounds like personal sacrifice.
Yeah. I mean, I've seen this for a decade from this guy. It's all about Jesus, and he's like ride or die, like he came in nobody knew him, dropped in. Guys would have tapped by this point. And so, I mean, I don't know who's listening right now, but like finding guys around you who will help you not tap and just bounce out when you want to, because I'm sitting next to a guy who I feel like there's a decent amount of dudes who would not be here right now, but Daniel he kept making it about Jesus, and he had people around him that continued to love and support that. And so anyways, that's just kind of a side.
No, that's respect.
When you ask these questions, it's his answers are more costly than mine.
Yeah.
Because what I told you, I came with like a budget and like people 10 miles down the road. Yeah. So to the 10% question, I would say that it's sort of like why my kids tithe, or I want them to tithe when they start getting money. It's like, okay, so we're baking it in, and I'm going to explain, I'm going to posture you for the right position. Eventually you're going to have your choice in this, but I'm going to posture you, I'm going to teach you about tithing. And so for the church, I feel like there's an element of like, I'm going to ask you as an individual to tithe, and we're going to tithe as a church. I don't want to ask you to do something that we are not going to do corporately, and this is where our tithe goes. And then why here? Well, here because we wouldn't be here unless another church did this.
Right. That's a good answer.
So like, dude, like how can you...
You like your church? We wouldn't be here if it was for someone else doing it.
It's hard to argue.
Yeah, that's logic.
That's like,
That's why they give you the doctorate, bro. That's it.
All right.
There,
all right.
Man.
I love that. Where's the doctor button? Ding.
Ding.
That should be a button.
That should be a button.
That's all. It's hard work. People don't understand that.
It's hard work being so smart, huh, Daniel?
No, but when you write a thesis and when you write doing all the different stuff, I didn't got no doctorate.
No.
It's my education. I actually got a 4-year degree in business and marketing.
Is that right?
Yeah, I actually planted a church when I was 17. Then I got married at 19, and at 20 I had my 4-year degree in the church I was going to.
What kind of church did you plant at 17? Talk about this church.
Oh, jeez. It was an accidental church, all right? That's all I'm going to say about that. I had a Bible study. Another guy in my church, he had a college. 29. Yeah. It was an accidental 29 church. So another guy had a Bible study. He said, hey, I teach the Bible a little bit better. You play music a little bit better. Let's combine our stuff. It grew out of one house to another house to a building to people started tithing to be like, what the heck is that? Why are we having all these people getting saved, stuff like that? So we eventually put it under a leadership because we accidentally planted a church. And then people started calling us pastors. And so it was awesome.
Wow.
That's
I
awesome.
didn't know that.
I know. I don't, you don't really like claim your accidents. It's just things. I was just serving Jesus. I don't know what happened.
Well, we like it.
Yeah.
We like it. So coming back to your church and ministry, do you feel like you have that culture of church planting, like you kind of adopted from Spanish River? And I guess the question I would ask is, like, how? We've already asked how to get that. You gotta bake it in. But how do you maintain that? Like, and what level of support do you continue on with these church plants that you're a part of and that you're investing in?
Yeah, so we're automatically 10% of our budget's gonna always go to church.
So that's
planting.
a given.
Yeah.
10% always church planting.
That's in, and it's actually part of being in the Acts 29 network. But we were doing it, prior to that was just kind of part of our ethos was like this is what we want to be, and so that wasn't that hard of a shift, or we were close. I forget exactly where we were, but anyways, so how does it like become contagious? I think, or how do we maintain that? I mean, because here's what it could be. What it could be is like the way you pay your electrical bill. It's like set on, like
auto
repeat,
Yep.
and it's like, okay, we this is a bill.
Yeah.
And so one of the ways that, and it's in some ways it has become that to me. At times when I'm not careful to really, like as Daniel likes to say, cultivate that. Yeah. For the way.
Well, I
don't know what the sound is.
So when I'm not,
Cultivate.
intentional about that, it can become that. And so, one of the things that's been recent, even just for me, because I feel like if the lead pastor isn't living and breathing this, then it's going to be, I don't know how it becomes cultural. I'm not sure. Maybe it could, but so for me,
right.
I've repositioned part of my role to have regular contact and support with the guys that the 10% is going to.
Okay.
And I know that's not like earth shattering. Like I probably should have just been doing that anyways. It was like somebody else was doing it, and it was like, no, like I need to own this. And so, so that's just like a systematic, hey, phone call, or like, how you doing? How's your family? Praying for you.
Follow up.
Yeah, man. And so that, and then once it gets into my bones at that personal level, then it comes out in messages, or it comes out, hey, we can highlight, these guys, and I can tell stories as opposed to just like, hey, we give 10%.
Right. Yeah. It's much more meaningful.